Good morning. Happy Thursday. Thirsty Thursday with some coffee. It's also Hoodie Thursday because I'll be at Club 400 today, this evening, for a special event. It's my buddy Stu's 50th birthday. And so to celebrate, he's throwing a party with Sean Dunston, with Brian McRae. So Club 400 tonight. By the way, Sean Dunston and Mark Grace will be inducted into the Chicago Cubs Hall of Fame this weekend. So that's why Dunston was in town. He was actually, Sean Dunston was supposed to make an appearance at Club 400 back in, I believe, what was COVID year, 2020. So Sean Dunston was supposed to come like the summer of 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. Nothing happened in 2020. And then in 2021, tentatively, he was going to appear, but then he moved like cross country from, I think he moved either from New York to Arizona or Arizona to New York. I can't remember, but he flip-flopped from coast to coast. Arizona's not a coast, but it's far. It's Steve's in the house. Arizona's far enough that it's kind of like the West Coast. So he moved from east to west or west to east. I'm not sure which one. So he was busy with the big move. So here we go. Cubs Hall of Fame this weekend. Sean Dunston going to be in the house, the Club 400 house. My wife's going to come first time. I've been going. This is probably been to 15 or 16 Club 400 events. My wife has been to 0. So she's like, that's your thing. Like, you do it. I'm like, but I've become like really good friends with a lot of the other regulars that go to Club 400, to most of the events. And they're like, is your wife real? Like, where's she at? Where's your wife? So I talked my wife into going. My best friend growing up, who got married this summer, he lives like 3 blocks away from Stu. So my wife is like, but he's not like big into going. Like, he's been once, and he's like, it's just like it's not his thing, right? So my wife's like, if Scott and his wife go, I'll go. So I text my buddy, and he's like, he's like, how come they're always on weeknights? He's like, it's a school night for his wife. She's a teacher. And he's like, I just can't do it. So, but talk to my wife and going regardless. I'm like, well, there's enough people. She's like, I'm socially awkward. I don't want to, nah. I'm like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So Club 400 tonight. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow. So if I'm on tomorrow, it's like a happy little bonus because we are coming back. We are driving back. My wife's the DD. So we will be heading back after the event tonight. It's going to be late because the event runs until like 10:30. It's a 2-hour drive. You know how I am. I turn into a pumpkin after 10 p.m. as it is. So Dave says, I know your wife. Yeah. So there you go. Dave, you're going to have to help talk to my wife. Because she's socially awkward. Her words, not mine. Her words, not mine. Actually, she reminds me of my dad, like, hated going places. And he's like, but then when he went, he was like the center of attention, like, probably because he never went anywhere. So when he was out in public, people were like, whoa, Wayne, what are you doing here? We never see you. Like, Dad, come out. So yeah. So maybe go live tomorrow, maybe not. If I do, it's not going to be 7 a.m. because I can assure you I will not be waking up at 5 or 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So if I do go live tomorrow, it'll be a more West Coast friendly time. So we'll see. So Club 400 tonight. My buddy Dave's going to be there. I don't know. I was going through my balls, my baseballs, to stock, and I wanted to. I had some like faded Cubs baseball autographs in my shelves, my cabinets. I had some prospects that never, made it to AA. So it's like, I need to refresh this, because I had like a couple World Series baseballs that were just in a tub. I had a Cole Hamels autograph that was in a tub, like, bigger names that could be displayed, not in a tub hidden away. So I was going through my baseball collection. I think I have 3 Brian McRae autographed baseballs. I put one on eBay. I have a Sean Dunston baseball. It's like one of the cheap, like, synthetic leather balls, but it was signed in black Sharpie. So since I've had it, like, it looks better than an official baseball in blue ink. So I don't really need a Sean Dunston baseball. I may, if I can find it in the next 8 hours, I actually have some really cool I actually have multiple Sean Dunston baseballs, because my buddy Steve, the Craigslist collection that I bought several years ago, he was a grapher here in Madison when the Muskies played, and when the Quad City Cubs came to town. Sean, I think, did that work out? Yeah. Sean Dunston played for the Quad City Cubs in, I think, 1983, 82 or 83. And so there was like 3 or 4 like brown, like, I think they were game used from the late 70s, early 80s. But you can see the signatures, and a young Sean Dunston signed those baseballs. So I'd like to have, like, maybe a Quad City Cubs card signed. And I don't know, Brian McRae. I guess I'll get a baseball card. I'll find a Brian McRae baseball card. I don't know. I have baseballs. I don't have like any 8x10s. I've never met I've met Brian McRae multiple times at Cubs convention, I guess, but I don't have like a picture with him to get signed, because I also like getting pictures signed. Which reminds me, my Brennan Davis photo that I took, made it artistic in black and white, and then he signed it. Although I think, did I have him sign it in black Sharpie, which was not a good move on a black and white photo. Should have had like a blue or pink paint pen or something. Anyway, Club 400 tonight. Today I want to talk about more sales or more listings does not equal more sales. And I tweeted this out yesterday. I was taking Biscuit for a walk. We were walking through the park, and for whatever reason, I thought of my high school algebra teacher, who was also a basketball coach. And I remembered going to basketball camps, as a grade schooler, and something he always said. And it kind of falls in line with more listings doesn't equal more sales. There's a caveat with that, just like the saying that my coach said. He said, practice doesn't make perfect. More listings doesn't equal more sales, but there's a second part to each of those statements. So I want to talk about that. I want to elaborate on that because my buddy Hodges did reply. He's like, "Hey, I sold a Colton Wong card," and yes, and I can go to my eBay store and and I constantly say, just don't list a bunch of junk. You're not going to see a lot of sales. I sold a 2000 Topps Gallery Brad Johnson football card this morning. But if you list a whole bunch of those, sell too many of them. So we're going to dive deeper into that belief. George is in the house. What's up? Good evening to you out there in Korea. Steve in Arizona. What's up? Good morning. Trent's in the house. Coffee is hot. Temps are cool. It's hoodie weather. It is hoodie weather. AA Cards. What's happening? Good morning. Steve Haynes in the house. I believe he's down in Florida. We've got Kyle in Northern Illinois with us. Good morning, Kyle. David out on the East Coast. What's happening? David, are you in Maryland, I think? Flawed Thinker. I'm not sure. I'm going to guess the D.C. area since he's a big Nats fan. He's got the Zimmerman in his photo. Hall of Fame card collector. I know he's in Indiana at ISU, the Sycamores. What do you think of the Rock Auto being real and Ty being vindicated? So, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about this. I saw that Chasing Cardboard went live last night. I did not catch it. So it is on my videos to watch today. So no comment. I have no comment because I don't know how it all played out. So I'm going to watch that video and then I can talk about that here in the next couple days. Hail Mary hits because actually going back to this comment, because I do have a thought that even so, so apparently the Rock Auto was real, that Chasing Cardboard and the whole sports card radio nonsense. As that was going on here lately, I've had some thoughts on autograph authentication, and I wanted to do an experiment, which I think now, if this Rock Auto is real, which apparently it is, I want to carry out an experiment. Good morning, Hail Mary hits. What's up, Dave? What's happening? So, Dave, I gotta ask. So, my alma mater, Western Illinois University, Macomb, Illinois, where Dave is at. Western Illinois has their mega reunion this weekend. I was so pumped. So this mega reunion, when did the planning start on this? Like 2008, like 5 years ago. And so here's the backstory. So Western Illinois University, it's really fallen on hard times. Enrollment has just dropped dramatically. It's just, there's been layoffs and it's not a good situation. So they wanted to like rejuvenate and bring all of the alums back. And, you have your like, 50-year reunion, 25-year, 10-year, blah, 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 blah. But they're like, let's do a mega reunion. And I think initially, and Dave can speak to this, chat to this, I think initially it was just like a 90s thing, right? Wasn't it just like 90s? I think it was. Because I think Dave's like, well, I was or were you in the night? You were late 80s, early 90s. I don't know. But it was like a 90s thing. And then all of a sudden people are like, well, I'm class of 82. I'm class of 86. I'm class of 64. I want to come to this. And then I think it was opened up. And this is like 5 years ago, early on. And they had a Facebook group. And it was so awesome because what's college? College is nostalgia now. I think Hall of Fame card collector is currently a student. So your elders always say, enjoy it, because when you're my age, you're going to be looking back like, oh my God, I can't believe that was 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 plus years ago. And it's like, oh, those were the best times of your life. Yeah, you were eating ramen noodles and there's probably cockroaches in your apartment, but it was great, right? Waking up on the grass in your front yard with a penis drawn on your cheek. Those were the best times. Eating frickin' Domino's pizza out of the trunk of a car, or better yet, the sweet and sour chicken from Yenching, or not Yenching. What was the damn it? I was too drunk to remember. Anyway, so mega reunion. Of course, when was it going to be held? Like everything else, 2020. And of course, COVID, blah, blah, blah. And then, and I think it was postponed again, and they couldn't get dates. And now it's been pushed all the way back to this weekend here in 2023. Like initially, I'm like gung ho, like, oh, I'm going to go back and do. And then as the years, it's like, you know what? I've had my fun reading all the comments on Facebook. Here we are 5 years later. I think I'm going to skip it. Obviously, I am skipping it. So, but it does look like a lot of fun. I'll probably have FOMO this weekend as I'm shipping and listening and shipping, and seeing Dave post on Facebook how awesome the WIU mega reunion is. James wants to know, are you bringing supplies on Sunday? Yes, I will have top loaders and card savers. No penny sleeves, but card savers and top loaders. I'm not going to bring all of my new. So I've been, yesterday I kind of focused on, let's throw the banner up on my upcoming card shows. So I'll have 3 tables this weekend. My buddy Mike texted me last night. He's like, hey, I've got an extra table. Do you want one? We've got a perfect space for bargain boxes. So I'll have a nice little setup on Sunday at the Kane County Fairgrounds, St. Charles, Illinois. That's this Sunday. So I'm excited. I haven't been into the fringe suburbs for a card show in 2 years. Last one I did was Schaumburg in 2021. So I'm looking to get back to that area. Looking forward to getting back to that area. So yesterday, Cubs had a 120 game. By the way, we're going to talk about the freaking Cubs. Hell yeah. So the Cubs game was on at 120. Jordan Wicks started. My buddy Luke Little. Actually, I'm not really buddies with him, but I'm friends with his mom and dad. He was called up and made his MLB debut and shut down the Giants in the 9th inning. Non-save situation, but he was looking good on the mound in his big league debut. So I'd love if there was a Topps Now card. I kind of doubt there will be, but it would be so freaking awesome if there was. And hopefully he can get into some more games this year and get a Topps rookie card in 2024 Series 1. So we'll see. Anyway, so I was making bargain boxes. Like I said, I'm still going through the boxes I bought at the National. Just trying to get through all that so I can keep it going, turn it over. And it's like when I make bargain boxes, I'm putting these cards in the bargain boxes, and it's like, these will sell on eBay. But the thing is, like, I have enough to list. If I can take them to a card show and move them, boom, 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 it's, fast cash. Whereas they may sit for a couple weeks, couple months, a year, who knows, on eBay. So I've been throwing a lot of cards in bargain boxes, especially like color, football, basketball. It's those have become common. Like color, I can't believe you put color in. I had a dealer mention that to me at the last Janesville show I did. I can't believe you isn't that dollar box stuff? And I'm like, I don't think so. I really don't think so. It's quarter box stuff. And maybe that's why people come to my boxes, because they can find that stuff because other dealers think that way. It's like, oh, if it's color, it's $1. And I don't think like that. So I am going to bring so St. Charles this Sunday, Kane County Fairgrounds. I will have top loaders, card savers. I will bring at least one new baseball box, one new football box, one new basketball box. I'm not going to bring all new stuff because I do want to save up inventory for the 2-day show in Loves Park at the end of the month, which you can see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Loves Park, Illinois, indoor sports center. Love it. On turf. Sports bar overlooks the venue. That's on later this month, September 23rd and 24th. So looking forward to that. So that's my card shows upcoming. Of course, the Madison card show getting close to selling out already, which is kind of wild. So that's Saturday, September 30th, Madison card show. Flipping Sports Guy. Love the title. People always think listings equal sales. Nope. Having what people want equals sales. Nailed it. That's the second part to the equation. More listings doesn't equal more sales, but more quality listings equals more sales. Much like practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Like Coach Earl used to say. Flawed Thinker, never seen your wife, must be from Canada. Good morning, Brian. If you're a fan of the Matrix franchise, Rage Against the Machine's music is a big part of the story. I am not a big fan of the Matrix franchise, nor am I a fan of Rage Against the Machine. George says the only place he didn't hate going to was the Eaton place. That was my dad, LOL. Yeah, my dad, he'd go to an Eaton place. And that dad, that's the Red Ox. That an Eaton place? That's an Eaton place. It sure is. Do they have a smoking section? They probably do. It's an old-fashioned steakhouse. I'm sure they have a smoking section. Good morning, Donald. What's happening? Dan is listening to Hobby Evolution from the gym. That's not very couch people of you, Dan. That is not very couch being at the gym. Although I feel like for some reason, like this time of year, I feel like I should get the treadmill and turn it on. Because for whatever reason, in the summer, it's like, and maybe it be because I'm active enough. I'm active enough in the summer, but then like now it's like I'm wearing hoodies. I'm craving fried food. It's like maybe you should jump on the treadmill. Give it a little use. Harlan's in the house. Good morning. Oh, Dave drop. I did not know. Jody Davis going to be in the house tonight. Jody Davis. You know, I don't know if I have a Jody Davis autographed rookie card. Maybe I'll bring rookies. See, Brian McRae wasn't a Cubs rookie, so it's like, or Lee Smith. Lee Smith possibly showing up tonight. So a lot of these guys from the 80s Cubs teams, and I guess even the 90s with Brian McRae, are going to be in town. And I know Stu T's like, hey, there might be some other Cubs showing up. Brian McRae was like a confirmed, he's going to be here. But then there's going to be some other players that just may pop in. You never know. See, that's what Club 400, like, I'm going to say, I don't know. I think ticket sales ended. I think so initially it was going to be a private event. And it was basically a private event until like a week or two ago. And then it was going to be a public, like if there are any tickets available, we'll open it to the public. So there was a select few amount of tickets open to the public, which opened up a week or two ago. And then ticket sales. So it was until like yesterday, which is usually, I think they cut it off a few days in advance just to get preparations. But this is a smaller party, I believe. It'll be smaller than Joe Madden, I assume, but should be a good time. There is no should. Will be a great time. Good morning, Johnny M. But if you don't list it, it's guaranteed to not sell. There is some truth in that. But here's why more listings doesn't equal more sales. What I commonly see is people listing. And so you can go in my eBay store and you're going to find 1982 Fleer. There's going to be a lot of it. There's going to be 79 tops, 80 tops, commons, Bob Boone, Larry Boa. Those are kind of like semi-stars, right? But you're going to find Dick Davis and Greg Gross, right? You can list 1,000 of those. And sure, you're going to sell some. You're going to sell some. And you're going to sell more than what you would if you had not listed it. However, what I see is people just assume I have 50,000 listings, 25,000 listings, 10,000 listings, 100,000 listings. How come I'm not selling more stuff? Well, the more you list, it's more than likely once you get into that volume game and you're up into the thousands and thousands, you're going to have a lot of less desired cards. And your sell-through rate is going to plummet. And I want to share that, and I want to write this down so I don't forget, because it's a very important point. Sell-through rate. So I want to write this down because it's a very important lesson that I personally learned. So if you don't list it, it's not going to sell. But don't expect to sell, if you list 1,082 Fleer, don't expect 500 to sell in the next few months. It's going to be a very slow, and it's almost like a bonus. It's really easy and fast. I could list 1,082 Fleer in 30 minutes. So when I can do that and get them all uploaded, and then when a few sell, it's a bonus for me. It's like, oh, hey, I just sold 3 of them. I may only sell 3 in the next month out of 1,000, but hey, that's $5 in my pocket. And it was, a couple minutes worth of work. Brian's in the house. Good morning. What's up, Brian? Flipping Sports Guy says it's going to be 95 in Philly. All the high school kids still have their hoodies on. I actually read a story about this, about kids wearing hoodies. Just talking about the Madison Card Show nearly selling out. Just received a text message. Hey, any tables available? Yeah, I read somewhere online. I saw like kids are still wearing hoods. It's 90 degrees and kids are wearing hoodies. So is that like a new fashion thing? Because I'm all about hoodies. And if hoodies are fashionable, sign me up. Sign me up. Good morning, Tiger 727 in the house. Carlo does vintage. Morm. Hey, Morm to you too. Morning. Let's see. Flawed Thinker says, I'm in Northern Virginia. Used to work 2 minutes away from Blowout and would go there at least 2 days a week. It was fun, but easy to spend money. since the prices are cheaper than online. Hey, can't beat that. Yeah, blowout. Let's see. That is in shit. I should know with as many packages as I receive from them. The hell city is it from? I don't know. Drop it in the chat. I can't remember. It's too early. Let's see. I have a customer who purchased 2 cards, separate orders. I want to print off a packing slip with both cards in the same slip. How do you combine them before you print the shipping label? I think if you go into like bulk, see, I don't do this. It actually does. Sometimes it causes me to spend additional time because people like look and it doesn't say, it just says shipped but not delivered. So people assume I never got this card when in reality it was with the rest of your order. Let's see. Awaiting shipment. Let's see. Orders awaiting shipment. Let's see. So I don't do bulk shipping. So I'm not sure. There is a way to do it. Somebody help him out. Somebody help out Double A Cards. There is a way to do it. But I don't. So I'm not a good person to answer that. Rock Auto being real shows again that quick authentication from a photo is nothing but another money grab by the grading companies. You just ruined my experiment. This is exactly my thoughts. Beckett authentication, quick opinion is, I'm not going to say it's the 4-letter SCAM word, but it's a money grab. And I think I want to run an experiment to see. And what I want to do is I want to submit an item that, and see, now I'm saying, and it's like, if somebody catches wind at Beckett, like, oh, that's the guy that said he was going to do this. So we know it's real. So I want to submit something that I had signed in person and watched with my own 2 eyes. The person signed this because you can, and here's the thing, a lot in-person autographs. Here's the thing. Where do most in-person autographs get signed? Most. Before a game, after a game, at a hotel. And what are players when you're in a group of people getting autographs? What are players typically doing? And what happens when players do a quick sig like that? It doesn't look real. And so how many times have I seen this failed authenticity because some guy wherever, because it was just signed real fast. And then of course, if you put it online we see a lot of engagement farming on Twitter now because you can get your 13 cents a month with the blue check mark now. So there's all these stupid tweets I see. You know, a good engagement farm is just throwing up an auto and saying, is this real? And it can be real. And it can be something you had signed yesterday in front of your own 2 eyes. And 50% of Twitter is going to say, nope, that's not real, because you can see there's a lot of like wannabe authenticators on social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Oh no, that's not real. That's not, see the loop. I checked on eBay and the authenticated version doesn't have that. So maybe I'll just, let's have a little fun. Maybe I'll do that. We'll start that off and we'll have a little fun with this, because I think you're exactly right, Paul. It is a money grab. Carlo does vintage. How best to sell on eBay? 10,000 1976 to 78 baseball comments, mostly excellent singles, teams, lots. It depends. It depends on how you want to carry it out. Do you want the most money? It's kind of like, let me write this out. What's your ultimate goal for selling these? I want to use a Sharpie because it's okay. It's kind of like If you want something, what is it? A product. If you want it, it can be fast and in quality. So quality, money, and time. You can have a high quality product in a short amount of time, but you're going to pay a lot of money. You can have a cheap dollar product, but it's high quality, but it's going to take a lot of time. So, what's your goal in selling 10,000 baseball commons? There's just two: money and fast. Time and money. Do you want to make the most money? It's going to take a long time. And it's going to take a lot of time also. Do you want to flip it fast? Well, you can, but you're not going to make the most. You're going to make a small percent of what you could, but you're going to and that's what it's all about. You can't make the most money, and that's, I think, a lot of people that are not in the selling game, especially the volume selling game. And I'm not saying to anyone specific or you specifically, but I think that's what I see a lot when I want to sell my collection, but I want to, well, it's worth $25,000. Well, yeah, if you personally go out, buy supplies, because most people that are, selling their dad's collection don't have a bunch of envelopes and bubble mailers and top loaders and penny sleeves, or maybe even an eBay account. And remember, eBay takes fees. So you may have eBay sold, may show you $25,000 in sales. Remember, minus 13%, minus 30 cents on each of those transactions, how many there are. Think of all the time it takes to list those. Now you got to buy supplies if you don't have any on hand. So your 25,000 just became 16,000, 17,000, whatever the percent is on that. So 10,000, 76 to 78. I can tell you, if you want to just flip them real quick, throw them on eBay, a lot of 76 tops, and it can be 76, 77, 78. So 3,333, 76 tops cards, and you'll get a few $100. You could sell all 3,000, not all, but you can list all 3,333 76 on eBay. Individually, it's going to take you a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of work, when they start selling and shipping all that. But you're going to make more than your few hundred. You're going to make double your money or so. So that's what you have to think. Do you want to make the most money? Get a subscription to Car Dealer Pro. Upload them, list them to eBay as singles, and you'll make the most money. If you kind of want to be in the middle and make kind of a mid-range profit on it, I would say divide it up into years. That's where you're going to see the most. So for me, remember, I'm a volume seller. I'm listing sometimes 1,000 items a day on eBay. As a volume seller, all day long, I'm listing those as singles. In fact, I've been looking for a lot like this. Although 70, more so in the early 70s, but 76 to 78. But like, depending on price, I can't spend $1,000 to buy 10,000 76 to 78 commons. Is going to be basically throwing $1,000 away. It's going to take me forever to recoup that. But when I buy like a large collection and there's other stuff in there, and it's basically these come down to, freebies, then it's like, ooh, like that. Anyway, so number one would be selling as singles. Number two would be selling individual years. But remember, once we get to options 2 and 3, you're going to make less money, obviously. So I would do 76, 77, 78. And it's basically you're building a partial set. What do you call that? Partial set, starter set. So you're basically building starter sets. Yeah, there's going to be a whole 3,000. There's going to be a bunch of duplicates, right? Or again, as we get down to this, as we start breaking this down, more time is going into it. Well, maybe not as much time as option 1, selling them as singles, depending on your methods. I could do it really fast based on my organization system with my eBay store, scanner, and Car Dealer Pro. Not everybody has those tools. So number 2 is you're going to break them down into years. So 3,076s, 3,077s, 3,078s, which is you're going to spend less time breaking those down. Option 3, you break them down into starter sets. So now there's a little more sorting because you're not going to list 3,076s. You're going to list 500 or 400 or 300, but you're going to have like 10 different lots for each year. So you're going to have like 30 listings. And so here's a 76 starter set. It has 400 unique cards. And this one has 400, and you do it how many ever times over. And until it basically, you just have a whole bunch of duplicates because you have 25 Bob Boone. So that's option 3. Option 4, you go the teams. And you break it down. Here's 1,000. Well, there's 10,000. So what would that be? 400 or 500 Cubs, 400, 500 Cardinals, White Sox, Yankees, etc., and run that. And then you've got to decide, am I going to do this buy it now on eBay or I'm going to do it on auction? Again, same. Auction, you're going to make money. You're going to make less money, but you're going to get it in 7 days. Whereas a buy it now, they may sit and you're just going to be watching and waiting and anticipating for those sales to come in. So you have many options. So those would be my top, 4 would be singles, lot by year, starter sets, team lots. Brian to the 217. Hello, Quincy. What's up? Search and rescue cards in the house. Just chilling at the card shop. I am very blessed. Hey, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Chilling at the card shop. JW, good morning. The W still flying high. How about it? Cubs, I had some bold predictions. I had some very, very bold predictions at the start of the year. April 2nd, I waited a day so you wouldn't think it was an April Fool's joke. Present. Share screen. How about this? How about this? Bold predictions 2023, April 2nd. The Cubs win 84 games, which will be enough this year to sneak into the second wildcard spot. Here on September 7th, the Cubs are on pace to win, I believe, 88 games. Also, they do hold the second wildcard spot, but they're only a game and a half away from the Brewers in the National League Central Division. So they're a game and a half out. Brewers lost yesterday. Cubs win. So the Cubs are only a game and a half away from the lead in the National League Central, on pace to win 88 games. So my bold prediction, the Cubs said, hold my beer. Number 2, loss of Wilson Contreras will be addition by subtraction. That bold prediction wasn't so bold after a month into the season. We saw that became true right away. Number 3, hold my beer, Justin Steele will be in the top 3 for National League Cy Young. Bo, are you crazy? On April 2nd, I was. Nay. Justin Steele might actually win the Cy Young this year in the National League. Him and Blake Snell are kind of neck and neck right now for that National League Cy Young. So Justin's probably got 2 more starts? 9-7. He just started. So probably 3 more starts in the regular season. But we'll see how pitching works out here over the next 3 weeks, because maybe he skips a start in preparation for the playoffs. So we'll see. But how about those bold predictions? Cubs are like, bold? No. Those are weak predictions. We're going to top every one of those. George is too drunk to taste this chicken. That's a good drunk you got going on. Good morning, Mark Marinello. He's ready for some football. Hey, it's Thursday night, right? We've got some football on tonight. I don't even know who's playing tonight. Oh, wait, Monday Night Football was the Jets, so that's coming up on Monday. We've got Bears-Packers at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Not sure who's playing tonight. Uncle Rich says, good morning. Like percent barely above the Mendoza line. At least it's above and not below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Dave says it was one guy that didn't even graduate that started it all. The university took it over so it wouldn't be a shit show. They opened Bayhen as a hotel for all. Lots of people have canceled plans. Really? Well, that's not good. I have seen in the post, like, I'm trying to cancel. It's like, Jesus Christ. I feel for the promoters hearing, I got to cancel the card show this weekend. But I did see a picture of the Bayhen, one of the dorm rooms they posted in the Facebook group. Enjoy the chat. Thank you, Uncle Rich. The Bargain Boxer's here. He's going to be at the Kane County Fairgrounds on Sunday. I'll see you at the show. Unfortunately, I have to drive 3 to 4 hours on average just to hit a card show. Yeah, you are in the middle of nowhere as far as card shows are concerned down there in Chambana. I went to the Shipshewana show last weekend. Some dealers had quarter cards in $5 and $10 boxes. Why? I've seen that. It's really freaking annoying. You know, I see a lot of I commonly see Judge, Acuna, Ohtani in dollar boxes. Ohtani, I can understand. Trout, Judge, a lot of that stuff should be in quarter boxes, not dollar boxes. Usually when I see that, I grab a pile and I see a lot of dollar cards. It's putting lipstick on a pig, throwing a card in. Just because you put a card in a top loader does not automatically mean it's a dollar card. But I see that often. A lot of quarter cards masked as dollar cards because somebody threw them in a top loader. Not the case. You won't see that at the Kane County Fairgrounds this Sunday in St. Charles, Illinois, when you shop my bargain boxes, because I put dollar cards in the quarter boxes. And hell, sometimes you pull $40 cards out of my quarter boxes. I had, I don't know if I shared this story, but I think I did. The Madison Card Show last month. My buddy Tom goes, "Do you have wrestling in your boxes?" I'm like, "I don't think so." I sold them all to Shane, and but I'm like, there might have been some that, because I didn't go through some of my non-sport boxes and there was wrestling in there, so there could have been a sprinkling of some wrestling cards. He goes, a guy just bought some stuff off me, and he said he found a $125 super short print WWE Select card out of a quarter box on that back wall, which is where I was at. So I'm like, well, it either came out of my box or Jeff's box, who was right next to me. I'm like, I think it probably came out of Jeff's box. I did buy some Select WWE and put them in boxes, but I don't. And I wouldn't have known what a super short print was in WWE Select. So you never know what's in those quarter boxes. Because even guys that, like me, who dig through other people's quarter boxes to find stuff like that, even we miss that stuff. Sheena's in the house. What's up? He will be in St. Charles on Sunday. Sheena, I've got some great, because Sheena likes digging through my football and basketball. I'm going to bring one box of each, new stuff, color. Going to be some good stuff in there. Hall of Fame card collector says, for the MVP buyback, can you trade in Topps Chrome inserts to, or just base cards? I think it's just the base. I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly confident, but not 100%, that it's only base. But the refractors count for, I think it's like, say if it's Shohei Ohtani, it's card number 1. I don't know what number it actually is. Say it's card number 1, Shohei Ohtani, only card number 1, and the pink and sepia and the different color refractors equal more money. So I think that's how it works. Inserts do not count as far as I can recall. James says, sells for $1 on eBay, you're really only making 30 cents. So basically, if it's it depends on your promotion. How, if it's 10% promoted, that comes out off the top as well. So $1.50 is 25 to 30 cent profit. So $1.50 card is roughly a quarter, say a quarter, because your supply costs, your envelope, paper, label, all that stuff goes into it. And then, of course, your fees and stuff. JW says, what about the Proclaimers one-hit wonder? What were they? The Proclaimer, was that I could walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more? Angel Baby's in the house. It looks like he slept in. What time? 7:30. We're only 25 minutes behind in the chat. Bargain Boxer says, I have noticed that there are more and more card shows on Sundays. I think it's because most shows are Friday, Saturday. Now people can go to multiple shows on a weekend. Yeah, it was kind of the reverse. At least here locally, we had like no Sunday shows. The Madison show was a Sunday show. It was like the only Sunday show around. And then all of a sudden, and I don't like Sunday shows typically. I will this Sunday. Actually, I'm doing 2 Sunday shows this month. Sunday at Kane County Fairgrounds, and then September 24th, a Sunday, the Midwest premiere. And then all of a sudden it was like, we need Sunday shows. Now there's a lot of Sunday shows. I think there's a good balance, though. There's a good Saturday, Sunday balance for shows now. Search and rescue cards, just the base cards and their parallels count toward the MVP buyback. Thank you. Paul Heath, good morning. Blood Thinker, Chantilly. Yes, I should have known that because the Chantilly card show. Chantilly. Thank you. Johnny says, we all sell for different reasons. I'm retired with a nice pension and Social Security. The $300 to $400 a week I do is extra money for me. Big difference than those selling for a living. Absolutely. Everybody's in a different situation. Some it's full-time. Some it's a side hustle. Some it's just casual. Like, I'm just going to throw some cards on eBay. Bargain Boxer. Question, would you rather list 1,081 Topps Commons, or would you rather list 10 cards that you know you can sell for $5 each in that same time? Well, 10 cards. Absolutely. 100%. Now, I'm listing 82 Fleer, and I have a stack of these baseball, and here's the reason. I've got this stack of cards. I've got 82 Fleer. I've got 1,082 Fleer that I can list, and I've got this stack of cards: Spencer Howard, rookie gold refractor, Jared Kelenic, Mojo, Bobby Witt insert, Joey Votto insert, Samad Taylor first chrome, fuchsia refractor, Royce Quintana first aqua, Rafael Devers refractors. So I have this pile of, say, 100 cards. It's going to take me about the same time to list those 100 cards than it will to take for me to list those 1,000 cards. However, the payoff, actually, it might take a little longer to list these because most of these I'm going to have to edit. But the payoff is a lot more because this Spencer Howard, I don't know, $20, $10. I'll have to look it up. So it's this balance. I want to have quantity, but I also want to have quality. It is a delicate balance because I do want to have a diverse quantity. I want to have volume listings, and those 81 Topps Commons, some do sell. And so when I can, I really love, if I sell a single 81 Topps Common of Bob Boone, and to one buyer, he buys Bob Boone 81 Topps. Is that worth my time? Yeah, in the grand scheme, yes. But if I do that all day and I'm only making 25, 30 cents, 50 cents per transaction, no, it's not worth it for me. But when somebody comes in and buys all of my Bob Boone cards, and I have the 81 Topps and the 82 Fleer, the 78 Topps, and all of a sudden 9 commons, I just made $12. That's a pretty good return. So it is a delicate balance. Card Hobbyist says, for me, it would be the 10 cards for $5. I don't have a feed scanner, so it would take a really long time to list 1,000 cards. And there you go. I have the Fujitsu or the Ricoh 8170. I have Card Dealer Pro. So to list those 1,000 cards, it's going to take me, no time at all. Good morning, TD Sports Cards. What's happening? Dorky Anglers in the house. Good morning to you. Brian says, Bo knows my fear of on-card autos non-authenticated. I'm not even going to care anymore if the seller is legit. There you go. Search and rescue cards. Good morning, TD and Dorky Angler. So, Brian, let me go back to this. So what if I go to spring training, you're like, hey, I need a Pedro Strop autograph, and I get a Pedro Strop autograph. It's not going to be authenticated. What do you do in that situation? Joe says bulk shipping labels gives you the option on top in red to combine orders if going to the same address. There you go. Flawed Thinker says fast money. I like it. Kyle says I sent a Dale Senior group of autos to OSA DNA and they rejected all 6. I learned to send one senior auto at a time as apparently the variation in his signature through the years caused the rejection. See? It's a freaking flip a coin. That's what autograph authentication is. Flip a goddamn coin, because I don't believe in it anymore. Cheap, faster, good. Choose 2. There you go. Absolutely. Brian says I had 3 autograph items at Heritage Auctions. They sent them back saying they were denied in quick opinion. One was a Connie Mack ball and was authenticated a month later, waiting on other 2. Quick opinion sucks. It's a freaking money grab. I'll fall short of calling it a scam. It might be a scam. Angel Baby's back with his coffee. Bargain Boxer, he's also in the 217. Opposite sides of the state. We've got Champagne on one, Quincy on the other. The 217, it's like, oh, where you at? See, 309. I'm in the 309, and it's like, it's pretty like small. Like when you think, because 217, it's like, because 217 goes all the way into like Carthage, down to Quincy, over to Champaign. It just feels like the 217 is just a huge range of the state. 309 seems pretty central, like Peoria, Quad Cities. That's it. It's like Peoria to Quad Cities. Because then it's like 815. Like 815 is like just 10 miles north of Anawan. We're like on the border of the area codes. Andy Mack, the Cubs won on Eddie Vedder Day. I have no clue why he didn't sing the stretch. I don't think he even attended the game. When was the show? Was the show on Tuesday night? So was it Tuesday, Thursday? If it was Tuesday, Thursday, I am surprised that he wouldn't go to a Wednesday game. If it's an off concert day. Interesting. Snell, Kershaw, and Steele are the front runners. I think it's Snell, Strider, and Steele. Kershaw's toward the bottom. I think Kershaw's kind of he's I don't know if there's any updated. What am I doing? Oh, I got this damn cord. It's like National League Cy Young odds. We want an updated version. Last I saw. Oh, September 5th. All right, we've got updated odds. So, National League Cy Young odds. Blake Snell is your front runner in most of the sports books. Justin Steele, number 2. Spencer Strider, number 3. Zach Gallen, number 4. Logan Webb, number 5. Zach Wheeler, number 6. Corbin Burns, number 7. And Clayton Kershaw is number 8. So that's your odds to win the National League Cy Young as of Tuesday. Blake Snell, the front runner, followed by Justin Steele. It's pretty neck and neck, though. So Blake Snell is minus 190. Justin Steele is plus 200. Strider is plus 450. It's basically a 3-man race. Because the odds fall dramatically after Strider. That's DraftKings. FanDuel has Blake Snell minus 230. Justin Steele is plus 300. Strider is plus 550. Bet365 has Snell minus 275. Steele plus 300. Strider plus 600. So, hey, if you put your money on Clayton Kershaw, you can make a ton of money because he's plus 10,000. Plus 15,000 on Bet365. So there you go. Your National League Cy Young odds. Carlo does vintage. Thank you. Hey, you're welcome anytime. I'm so ready for Sunday birthday weekend. So I told my wife all I want is to watch football by myself in peace for 10 hours. Lions and Chiefs tonight. Oh, and we've got some Lions fans in here. So I'm going to be, oh man, I can't root for the Lions though, because they're in the division. Because remember, the Chicago Bears are going to win the NFC North. I need to make that my new pinned tweet. Chicago Bears going to go 11-6, win the NFC North division. Let's see. Todd says tonight is KC versus Detroit. Go Lions. As a Packer fan, I want to see the Lions win tonight. Tiger 727. Why is Bo always talking about someone else's box every morning? Whose box was I talking about? Talking Tatis woke up late. Where we at? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. SoCal guy 1967. Good morning. I'm late to the chat, but we'll catch up with a replay on my way to work. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit my eBay store. Good morning, Tracy. What's happening? You know I like some Bobby Witt cards. I think there's at least one. So this will be, and I don't know if I'll get to it today because I want to get caught up on shipping. I've got a Bobby Witt stat tracker. So that'll be going in the eBay store. Let's see what else. Some Stadium Club Chrome. Some random inserts, regular Stadium Club, which are, man, they're beautiful cards. Some Ginter, just base Ginter. Jordan Walker, Bowman, a Shohei Ohtani. Oh, there's another Bobby Witt, a futurist. Bobby Witt, Anthony Volpe, Jordan Walker, Freddie Freeman, Ohtani. So there's some bigger name. Ooh, Julio Rodriguez, Mega Box Refractor. Some color in here. So that'll be in one of my next uploads. Kyle says, I think with PSA, I'm starting to believe that it stands for please submit again when it comes to autos. Yeah, here's a quick opinion. Oh, it probably won't pass authentication, but here, give us your money and send it in, and we'll really look at it. Andy Max says, yeah, Tuesday and Thursday shows. Okay. Good morning, Red Light 34. What's happening? Donald says Astoria is 309, Rushville 217. Astoria to Rushville, 15 miles from each other on Highway 24. There's got to be a line somewhere. There's always going to be a town. There's going to be two towns apart. There are going to be different area codes. In my neck of the woods, that was because I was on the 309-815 border. So Anawan was 309. Hoopole, which is just a fun town name to say. Hoopole was 815. Hoopole went to Anawan High School. So Hoopole students, it was, I think, 9 miles from Hoopole to Anawan. And what's really crazy was I had a friend of mine who this always like the way country addresses worked. So a good friend of mine lived how many miles? I can count the miles because he was, let's see, because it's country block. A country block is a mile. So there were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think he was 4 miles south of Anawan and then 1 mile to the east. And yet he had a Sheffield address. Now, Sheffield is like 10 miles due east of Anawan. And my friend Justin was only in a mile east of Anawan and 4 miles south. He was closer to 3 towns other than Sheffield, but he had a Sheffield address. It's like, this is really weird. So yeah, he was closer to Anawan. He was closer to Kewaunee. He was closer to Mineral. And hell, maybe even Neponset was closer than Sheffield. Crazy geography. It's probably all that gerrymandering. Kind of makes sense to sell and lost cards in quantity. Problem is, how long does the hobby expect me to keep this up? I don't know. To list. Oh, sell and list cards in quantity. How long does the hobby expect me to keep this up? As long as you want to keep it up. Which 2 NFL teams do you think will be the surprise this year when it comes to winning and losing? Well, I'm going to tell you the surprise for winning is going to be the Chicago Bears. Because most people think they're going to finish last in the division and win like 5 games. I think they're going to win 11 games and win the NFC North division. So the Bears are going to be my surprise winning. Losing, I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. But I've followed the Bears closely. I haven't really followed other teams. Like who are, we looked at National League Cy Young odds. Let's look at Super Bowl odds. FanDuel Sportsbook. So the Chiefs have maybe I shouldn't say the Chiefs are going to be the surprise losers. They're the favorites to win the Super Bowl. So the top 6 favorites to win the Super Bowl in this order are the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bills, the Bengals, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. So I think I'm going to say the 40. Those are the top 6 teams. I think the team among those and with the 5th highest odds to win the Super Bowl, the San Francisco 49ers. That was not. Oh yeah, okay. That's the date of the Super Bowl. I would say the 49ers of those teams. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs have and I'm not going to say they're going to have a losing record, but I think they will not be I don't know what their odds are to win how many games. I don't know, but maybe the Chiefs to underperform this year. But of those 6 teams to not make the playoffs, I would say the 49ers. I would say of those 6 teams, least likely to make the playoffs, 49ers. I'm surprised the Cowboys are in the top 6 on there. That could be another one. But surprise winner, Chicago Bears. Surprise loser, San Francisco 49ers. And that's just me guessing, except for the Bears, because I know I'm from the future. I know that they're going to win 11 games in the North Division. As I recall, we didn't have the technology till now to list so many cards so fast. It's real ADHD thinking and listing behavior. And he's noticing something. Seems with Collects, I can do just as much, if not more, simply by using my smartphone to scan, photograph, list, price, and sell. There you go. Plus, I'm seeing seller listed prices as I type in. Be careful with those. Be very careful with any of the AI, not just Collects, but other platforms that use artificial intelligence when it comes to pricing, because some of those can be way off. So let's talk about the topic. We're an hour in, so it seems like a good time to start. More listings does not equal more sales. Now, there's an asterisk with that. Just like my coach, Doug Earl, said, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. More listings does not equal more sales, but more quality listings equals more sales. I think the biggest mistake I made, and I think Dan might have asked me this maybe at the 1 year mark, or I don't know when, but if I would go back and do anything different, I don't think I would. And I think I answered that way when it was initially asked. Because I think I was calculated enough to know how I wanted to run my business. And if there was anything that I, kind of fumbled, it was my math initially. Surprise, surprise. And my old coach, Doug Earl, who was also my high school algebra teacher, would not be surprised with my statement on fumbling math either. He could be like, oh, I could have told you that when he was 14. So my biggest fumble was running the numbers before I dove into this full time. And what I mean by that is I was constantly tracking on a daily basis my sell-through rate, the average cost, and then extrapolating those numbers out to 50,000 listings. So I fumbled the math in 2 instances. I didn't realize how slow it was going to take me to list 50,000 listings. I got, what do you call when your eyes are bigger than your stomach or whatever, when you see a bunch of food, it's like, oh. So I didn't realize how long it would take me to get to that 50,000 listing mark. Now I'm closing in on it. I think I'm a little over 45,000 listings now. But like I said, there's a lot of comments, and what happens, that sell-through rate suffers, because when you get that volume game going and humming, you're listing a lot of 82 Fleer comments, 78 Tops comments. And how often are people searching for Bob Boone and Greg Gross? And let's pull out another name, Ted Power, which is a great baseball name, by the way. Not often are people searching for those types of cards. I need card number 555 from 81 Fleer. It happens. It certainly does. TTMers, set collectors, it's a trickle. It is certainly a trickle. So my biggest gaffe was thinking my sell-through rate would not suffer as much as it has. And what I mean by that is at the beginning, when I started full-time, my sell-through rate was right at 1%, which is higher than normal. But it was on 3,000 listings. They were cherry-picked. I was only listing quality. You know, I didn't have a box of 82 Fleer next to me. I had a bunch of Bowman Chrome Bobby Witt Jr., and I'd go through. It's like, okay, Bobby Witt, they're going on eBay. Oh, a gold refractor, that's going on eBay. These Joey Votto and Bryce Harper inserts, they're not going on eBay. It was all cherry-picked. So the cherry-picked were the best of the best that sell. And the sell-through rate, boom. And that's why my sell-through rate was higher than average. The average on cards, you know, before this volume boom, there's now a big boom on volume listings on eBay thanks to Car Dealer Pro and Ricoh scanners, you know, it was around 0.6, 0.7%. And so it's like, okay, if I can do 0.6% sell-through rate on 50,000 listings, I'll be making this much annually. Well, little did I realize that the more cards you list in this fashion, volume-wise, because it takes a long time. Like I mentioned just a bit ago, I can list 1,082 Fleer, and you know, it's not like it's 91 Fleer. 82 Fleer, you're going to sell a little bit more than you will 91 Fleer. Yeah, you may sell a Conseco and a Bonds out of 91 Fleer every once in a while, but you're going to move more of the common names. People are looking for Ted Power to send TTM and all that. So it's going to take me longer to list these because I've got to go through and manually edit titles and make sure, okay, well, this is the futurist and blah, 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 blah. So your sell-through rate suffers when you add volume. If you want to really, truly scale up fast, you can cherry pick, but you're going to grow much slower. And so it's kind of that, it's that balance, right? You do want to make sales. You want to have more items up because more items do equal more sales, just not as fast. Your sell-through rate is going to suffer. Somebody asked, I think it was my buddy Hodges, said, well, I sold a Colton Wong. And I'm like, okay, you take 1,000 Colton Wong, 1,000 Ted Power, 1,000 Larry Boas, or 1,000 Bobby Witt Jr., Shohei Ohtani, Will Clark, Willie Mays, Ricky Henderson, Joey Votto inserts, and Samad Taylor color refractors. You're going to sell a lot more of those cherry-picked cards that are going to move. They're more liquid. So more listings does not equal more sales, but more quality listings do equal more sales. But there's a caveat that goes in that. It's going to take a little more time, just kind of how we had that conversation. How do I list 10,000 70s commons? Well, if you want to make the most money, you're also going to spend a lot of time. What's more valuable to you? Do you have the extra time to list and supplies on hand and you're equipped for the volume game? Not everyone. We collectively that sell in volume are the minority when it comes to eBay sellers. Not many people are equipped or want to be equipped for that matter. Like, I don't want to ship 200 items a day. That sounds like hell. And sometimes it is hell. So I think that was my biggest fumble was the biggest mistake I made was just not understanding the implications of that sell-through rate on volume listing. You know, and I knew it wasn't gonna be a consistent 1%. I knew the more volume I added, I'm gonna sell less in terms of a sell-through rate. I'm gonna sell more quantity, but the quantity divided by the listings is gonna fall dramatically. And so my sell-through rate now is around 0.25%, around 0.22, which is poop to what that sell-through rate is poop from where I thought it would be almost 2 years ago. So just keep that in mind. If you are in the volume game and you're struggling with sales and like, how come I'm not selling? Just take a look at your inventory. a big boost. And sometimes I fall into that. Like I'll be listing, like I'm going to list 1,082 Fleer. And it's like, how come I'm not selling more cards? Well, because nobody's looking for Ted Power and Larry Boa. But I'll list Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr. All of a sudden, the sales start trickling in. Hey, imagine that. More quality listings equal more sales. All right. So Kyle says, when being self-employed, it's easy to overestimate the numbers. Absolutely. I stopped doing that years ago and just try to get a couple base hits each day. And at the end of the year, I figure I will hit 300. There you go. There you go. And you know, one thing that I learned through my wife was, and she's in real estate. So, you know, she's on the high, like her sales are, she's like, I wish I could do the volume that you do. And it's like, I wish I could do the dollar amount that you do. You know, some of her sales are more than, you know, or almost as much as what I, you know, make in a year. You know, when you're selling high-end homes. But there's less volume. So in her slower times, it's like, oh my God, I don't feel, and just watching this through her and her mom, who was in real estate, she's kind of in retirement phase. Like I haven't, it's slow, but we all know like real estate in Wisconsin, November to anywhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas is super slow. But you start like, oh my God, what if this is the new norm? Like, what if it doesn't rebound? Like, what if the market doesn't, you know, heat up in January, February into the spring? And that's sometimes I feel the same. Like my volume, like yesterday, my volume was down. It wasn't down too much on, what the hell day is it? Tuesday. It was down compared to the previous days. Yeah, it was yesterday sucked. And so I look at that and I'm like, oh shit, what if this is the new norm? Like, what if this is, and if this is going to be the new norm, like, oh man, I've got to adjust my strategy. But then today can come along and I triple my goal, and it just, yesterday is a wash. And it's like, oh yeah, you're going to have days like that. And so you can't judge your future on a day or a week. And sometimes a month. My July was shit, but I knew it was going to be shit. Let's see. Henry says, Ted Power, who cares? Recycle, sacrifice. No, because I can list that. It takes me half a second. Ted Power. I'll list it. It'll sell. Maybe. I saw the same thing about card stores. When people complain there are too many stores in DFW, my answer is there are never too many good stores. And the good stores will last. If it's a bad store, it'll close. And I complained a lot about too many card shows here in our Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison triangle. And guess what? As demand in the hobby started to diminish, decline, which we expected, most of us expected a decline in from the boom. You know, we knew that wasn't going to last. All of a sudden, there's a card show all over. There's a card show every freaking weekend, and 4 or 5 of them every weekend. There's too many card shows. And it's diluting, but the good ones will survive and advance. And that's what we've seen. A lot of the Johnny come lately card shows that popped up during the pandemic and shortly after the pandemic, poof, they're gone. The good shows will last. The good businesses will last. And the ones that are just there not doing their best, they'll fall. They'll fall off. Angel Baby says, consider as players are eligible, nominated for the Hall of Fame, suddenly, as if like magic, his or her cards come alive for dough. Yeah, it's like that with Hall of Fame season. You know, we'll see the ballots here in the next couple months for next year. And who's on it? Carlos Delgado, maybe? Who's or is Joe Mauer? What's the 2024 ballot? The 2024 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. The official ballot won't come out until like November, but the potential ballot will have Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer. So there are some good names on the ballot. that will be on the ballot. It's still potential at this point, but you will see Adrian Beltre on the ballot, Joe Mauer, Chase Utley, David Wright, Bartolo Colon, Matt Holliday, Adrian Gonzalez, Jose Bautista. Can you believe Jose? I can't believe Jose Bautista has been out of baseball for 5 years. So those are some of the names that, as we approach November, some of those names will likely start moving. Now, will all of those players get into the Hall of Fame? Absolutely not. But you will start seeing people buy Joe Mauer, Adrian Gonzalez, who was the other one, or Adrian Beltre. Oh, Adrian Gonzalez is also on there. Chase Utley, Joe Mauer. So those names will probably start moving this winter as they will appear on the Hall of Fame ballot. Rich says, and in some cases, the stores are there, but for multiple reasons, of which the first one may not be for retail stores. Dorky Angler to John, yes, both sides. People like to see centering, surface, and all that good stuff on both sides of the card. A lot of serial numbered cards have it on the back. More info on the card, better. Did I miss that comment? I think I did. Oh, yes. Sorry, John. John says, do you suggest taking photos of the front and back of the cards for eBay listings? Also, do you use Card Ladder or Market Movers? If so, which would you recommend? So first question, yes. And I actually changed my my thought process on this within the last year. I am now team front and back, just for the simple fact that when I was doing front only, I was getting so many eBay messages. Can I see the back of the card? And then I'd have to go find the card, take a picture of the back. And it's like, why don't I take a picture of the back? Especially when you're doing vintage. Is it a clean back? And that's where you get a lot of questions. So yes, absolutely. Front and back. And like, I think, who mentioned it down here in the chat? Somebody, Dorky Angler said, yeah, because sometimes the parallel numbers, like your Topps Gold and all of that, the serial numbers are on the back of the card. So yes, I absolutely recommend front and back photos in your eBay listings. And do I use Card Ladder or Market Movers? I do not. I don't use either of those. I use eBay sold listings. That's all I use when I comp. I don't comp too much. In fact, that's cost me a few bucks here and there, because sometimes I'll list a card for $1.50 and it's a $10, $20 card and somebody got a great deal. Johnny M, when you say sell-through rate, is that daily? So that's my daily sell-through rate. So that's my daily. So my daily sell-through rate is 0.25%. So what that means is for those that may not know, 0.25% of my entire inventory is selling on a daily basis. So 0.25% of 45,000 listings. So what's the math on that? I can tell you it's in the low hundreds. 45,000 times 0.0025, 112.5. So, and that's on a 90-day period. So, my numbers will drastically increase. I'll probably increase to about 0.3% in a month, because my July was so slow by design. I was gone half of the month, and moving. So that's my daily sell-through rate, and I use numbers on the 90-day basis. So, so how I calculate that is I take I go into my 90-day totals, and I take the amount sold in a 90-day period, and I divide that by 90. And then I divide that number by active listings. And I do that on a daily basis. And I track that on a daily basis. Let's see. Angel Baby says, I get that, but from the looks of things in this era, a lot of collectors are going to end up with an awful lot of base cards already happening. I mean, it used to be you go to a card show or you talk to your, card shop, and Hey, I hear you buy quantity, buy volume. And it used to be, oh yeah, I'm sure you have 80s and 90s. And now it's not 80s and 90s anymore. It's kind of like, I'd be happy to look at your 80s and 90s. Okay. No, I wouldn't be. Somebody will take me up on that. It's Panini Chronicles. Like, if I see another goddamn Panini Chronicles basketball card, I'm going to puke. everywhere. There's more. I would not be surprised if they made more Panini Chronicles basketball than 91 Fleer, because it's fucking everywhere. And I'm tired of looking at Panini Chronicles from 2021 and 2022. Happily, however, there does appear to be an algorithm that suggests what and when to pull from your inventory to later sell. Where we at? Let's see. I think we ended at Dorky Angler. Angel Baby says, as you were speaking, the algorithm is telling me to now pull my Keyshawn Johnson cards. And you know what rookie year he was? Was he 96? Can't remember. Double A says, basically what Bo is telling me, that my inventory sucks. It might suck. It might suck. Let's see. That guy from Cleveland. Victor, there he is, the rookie card specialist. 97% of my listed items is Hall of Famers, current All-Stars, or hobby darlings like Bo Jackson. Sometimes margins are smaller, though. Absolutely. Let's see. I've been holding those cards since 2013 to 2015. John says, question, do you suggest taking photos of the front and back? Oh, we just talked about that. Let's see. Angel Baby says, and as expected, soon as they became eligible, voila, suddenly I've got scads of high value dough. There you go. Brian, what's up? I've always been taking pics of front and back. If I see a listing without a back pic, I move on. And yeah, I learned that's another key. That's another key. Take pictures of the back. Henry says, okay, later, you said the magic words. I don't know what the magic words are. John says, is this the best place to ask you questions? Yes, absolutely. I'm getting back into the hobby and I would appreciate some input on multiple topics. Absolutely. Because I'm always looking for topics to talk about. Otherwise, you'll hear me talk about the year in movies from 1985 or my favorite cereal or what I ate for dinner last night. So I'm always open. If you're in the live chat, drop questions. That's what powers this show is the chat. So I always appreciate questions from the chat and we can all discuss. And I learn a lot from you as well. So that's always helpful. So yes, definitely. So I'm going to wrap things up for today. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit my eBay store. Come see me on Sunday at the Kane County Fairgrounds, St. Charles, Illinois, for the St. Charles Card Show. What else am I missing? I will be at Club 400 tonight, hanging out with Sean Dunston. Apparently Jody Davis is going to be there. Brian McRae is going to be there. So tomorrow, probably not going to go live tomorrow. I'd say right now it's a 50-50 chance. Actually, I'd say it's a 35% chance that I'll go live tomorrow. And if I do go live, it'll be like 9 or 10 a.m. It might just be like, hey, I'm hungover. What's up? It's Friday. Angel Baby says, what happened with your Allen and Ginter case? So I'm still debating because I have a busy weekend right upon release. And so I need a clean slate. When I open a case, I need a clean slate. And what I mean by that is a couple free days. So when I would buy a case, I would take like the next day off of work so I could rip and flip. Not all the time, but quite a few times I did that. So I don't have a clean slate this month. When Allen and Ginter releases on Friday, September 22nd, I think, whatever that Friday is. As you see, I'll be at the Midwest premiere on Saturday and Sunday, the 23rd and 24th. So I just don't have the time to rip and flip quickly enough. So I don't think I'm going to buy the case of Allen and Ginter because of that fact. Uncle Rich says, wait a second. Why is Bo complaining about food talk? I'm not, maybe some people don't want to hear food talk. I'm not complaining about food talk. One more question. Would you be open to a one-on-one consultation? Maybe. I am not a phone person. I am not like the only time I do video Zooms and stuff is like here. So I'd rather do it here than anywhere else. And that's just because that's how I am. I'm a weirdo like that. Or email, shoot me email. I'm good with email. Well, sometimes I'm good with email. Let's see. Kyle says, get a Dale Sr. story from Jody. Let's see. Let's see. I get it. Patience. There you go. All right. Like, subscribe, hit my eBay store. Maybe see you tomorrow. Maybe not. I will be live on Saturday. So we'll be back on Saturday. And typically Saturday mornings are around 8:30 Central Time in the morning. No show on Sunday. I'll be at the St. Charles Card Show down at the King County Fairgrounds. That's on Sunday. This Sunday, I'll have bargain boxes. I'll have supplies. Hopefully, I see you there. And with that, I'm out. Have a great day, and we'll see you sometime.